Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine and I just thought I'd whip together some no-bake peanut butter oatmeal bars. These are a perfect throw together, throw in your fridge for up to 10 days or freeze them for even longer. So we're having a get together tonight and that's what I'm bringing for dessert. So come on with. Okay friends, we're gonna get this in the bowl, in the pan, and into the fridge. Super simple. There are literally 5 ingredients or more. You can always add more to it, but we're gonna start out with 1 1/4 cup of rolled oats. The ones that I have are just from my Kroger store. They are organic. You know, oats are one of the dirty dozen of things, so if you do get oats, try to get organic. All right, so there's my 1 cup. And then I'm just gonna do a 1/4 cup here as well. So 1 1/4 cup of oats. And then the peanut butter. The peanut butter also is kind of specific for this, so make sure, it doesn't have to be organic or anything, you can actually make your own, but just make sure that it's literally just peanuts. This one has peanuts and sea salt in them, but if you use the natural peanut butter, make sure it's at room temperature because it'll be easier to get out. And this, we're going to actually add a full cup of this as well. And look how nice that like pours out of here at room temperature. And I'm gonna spatula that out. It's beautiful. I love it when like that happens instead of it being in your fridge and it's chunky. Okay. And then it's kind of like a sweet and savory kind of dessert here. Okay, there's that. Let me get the lid on this. And then we're gonna do 1/3 cup of maple syrup. You can do honey as well, but I have some maple syrup I'm trying to use up. And that's 1/3 cup. Okay, here's my 1/3. Okay, we're gonna fill that up. There's 1/3 cup of that. I'm gonna scrape that out as well. Get that last little yummy bit. And now this is the fun part. I'm going to add mini chocolate chips to this one, but you can add cranberries or raisins or chopped nuts, pepitas, sunflower seeds, you name it. You literally can add that. I'm gonna stick with the chocolate chips and I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips. And then I'm going to do one more item, which I try to do in most of my dishes. I mean, even right down to my chili and my ground beef, I try to add chia seeds. Chia seeds are so healthy for you, and I'm gonna do 1/8 of a cup of that because they do get gelatinous and they do spread, but this has great fiber content. There's just so many great things about chia seeds. Okay, and that's literally it. So I'm gonna get this well blended, and I'm just using that same spatula, and I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes and really soak into those oats. All right, I'm gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes. Hey Google, set timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. That's starting now.
Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay friends, it's been about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna get this into the pan. So I wanted to show you a new trick that I learned. You know how we always struggle to get the paper to stay? So the trick is you actually crumple it up first and then release it. And it lays down into those corners. Isn't that nice? Super simple. All right, so I'm gonna just scoop this out and flatten it with a spatula. It's not a really big amount here, but I'm just gonna flatten it and do the best I can, get it even. And me get this off of here. And scoop it. And then, so I'm gonna put these in the fridge for at least an hour because it'll be way easier to cut then. And this isn't cooperating with me. Let me switch. Let's see if this helps. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay. And so these bars, like I said, will last up to 10 days in the fridge, which, you know, I don't think they would if you have kids around or family around. But it's just I mean, you see how fast it was. It's 5 ingredients or more, whatever you decide, and no bake. You don't have to throw this in the oven. You don't have to do anything. And then once it's done cooling in the fridge, it's not gonna look the greatest here, but that's fine. I'm cutting them into bars anyways. Once it's in the fridge, chilled, you cut them into bars, and then they're ready to serve. Or if you make a really big batch, this is a pretty small batch just because we're just having a few people over, and it's awesome to have in the freezer, so you can just, if you do need to bring dessert somewhere, you can just grab these, and they're good for months in the freezer. All right, that's about as even as I can get it, I think. And then I do like using the parchment paper because, like, literally you can lift it up and out, which you'll see. So I'm gonna let these cool for an hour. We're due at our friend's house in about an hour, so it's kind of perfect timing. So I'm gonna throw these in the fridge. Okay friends, it's been about an hour in the fridge, and I'm just going to lift this up and out and get it transferred over. We're actually due over at our friend's shortly. And I'm just gonna make these into kind of bite-sized bars. And you see how much easier that they cut. And like I said, you know, that this is just a really quick dessert. If you don't have anything made up, usually you have, you know, peanut butter laying around. You usually have maybe some oats laying around. Oh, there's my timer. Hey Google, turn off timer. Boy, I was pretty close. And yes, we're just gonna do them in squares. And you can double, quadruple, you can always add different things to it. Like I said, if you don't like chocolate chips, you can add nuts, you can add cranberries. See how nicely they come apart? And that's my water thing going off, but it's just gonna have to happen. These keep so good in the freezer. And that's it, guys. We are due over at our friends' ooey gooey goodness. And actually they'll probably have to stay in the house since it's about 90 degrees today. 96, I think it is. So it's a steamy one. And I'm just gonna bring a handful over because there's only a handful of us. Ooh, that one's kind of sticking a little bit. All right, and then I'm gonna package these up for ourselves and keep those. So there they are. Delicious, and actually they smell delicious too, even though they weren't baked. So we'll get this video closed up. Okay friends, how simple was that? 5 ingredients. You mix it all together, throw it in a pan, mush it down, put it in the fridge for an hour, and then the bars are ready to cut up and share, or you can put it in a container and throw them in the freezer for longer term. Good for 10 days at least in the fridge, not that they'll last that long. So the ones that we did were the chocolate. You can make it a little bit healthier by adding some fruit. You can add raisins or cranberries, or even go on the other super nut area. You can actually add almonds and pecans or sunflower seeds, I was thinking. So use your imagination. Well, I just wanted to say I appreciate you coming with me, and I will see you next time on Christine's Routines. And I am gonna take another bite. So take care and God bless. Yeah, some good stuff. So if you appreciate it, if you appreciate it, if I appreciate it. Okay, let's try it again. These are good. Oh boy. The simpler, the better. If you're not, spit it out.